Dumelang, peace, love and light to you all, family and bulisa nonke kyali dumedisa. Welcome to another YouTube video with me, your host Mathix. Ooh, I'm smiling because today is the incarnation of this entity right here. Today is my birthday. So since I started doing requests for other people, I also decided to do a request for myself because this is a very special birthday for me. Actually, I've been looking forward to this birthday because this birthday I'm being initiated into the chakra that I'm actually born to work with. So in this lifetime, the chakra that I am stepping into now, and this should give you an idea of how old I am for those of you who might not know. If you've watched my YouTube videos, I've told you that the chakras develop in cycles of 7. So right now, I'm in my throat chakra. I'm being initiated into my throat chakra. So that should let you know what age I am. So it's a very special birthday because, growing up, I've always enjoyed speaking to people. I've enjoyed poetry, public speaking. I had no idea that when the Spirit of the One Most High decides to, through grace, initiate me into the realms of mysteries of decoding and, deciphering mysteries, not only for myself, but for people, that it would come to me, making a YouTube video or people coming to me like, oh my word, when you say this, you say it so well, so all of that is grace. It's grace, and it's not really because of my own power or because of my own knowledge or my own doing. It's I'm not the intelligent one here. It's one energy that is moving all of us. So now in today's video, I decided to talk about money, because if I'm stepping into the realm of the throat chakra, then you better be sure that this is my wealth age, or this is my wealth season. This is where it begins. So the first video I wanted to make, I wanted it to revolve around that. And the first thing that I'm going to do is decree and to declare that not only for me am I going to see a financial breakthrough, and not only just seeing a financial breakthrough, but to see it in doing things that I love, in doing things that make me happy. And with that same breath, now I am pushing that energy towards you and your auric field. So if you receive it, then you receive it in your aura. So now my words, if I do have the gift, which I know I do, of the throat, which is my chakra of this lifetime, if I do have it, then I'm decreeing and declaring to you that you too shall face whatever it is that you want to achieve. You shall meet face to face with it. It may not be a financial thing. You may want a kid. You may want a relationship. So I'm decreeing and I'm declaring upon your life that your deepest prayers and your deepest wishes, let them be fulfilled. And with that being said, they are fulfilled. They are fulfilled, because now we are speaking things in the now here moment. When you pray as if you already have those things. So does the Messiah say in the Holy Scriptures. So now with that being said, we're going to get into the whole conversation about money. So now, when we talk about money, right, like what is the history of money and currency and all of these things? Okay, so first of all, we have to break it down on an etymological level. So you have to understand, first of all, before we even get into the etymology, that money is an energy. Money is an energy. Just like just in the same way where you have emotions. Emotions are energies in motion. Very powerful. Very powerful. In fact, they are much more denser and much more potent than thoughts. So that's why when you have certain thoughts about what you want to be, if you add emotions behind those, then those thoughts can manifest much more faster, because emotions have that magnetic thing to them, whereas thoughts are much more electric. So now when we are dealing with money, you are dealing with emotions. You are dealing with energy in motion because now you are dealing with water, what they call maritime law, which means it's the law of the water. Hence, you get all of these words when it comes to the money system that has to do with water. Give you an example, right? Where do you store money at? You store it at a bank, you know? Where do you find a bank? You find a bank on the two sides of a river. That's what they call a bank, the bank of a river. What does a bank control? It controls the current. It controls the currency, the current, the flow, the cash flow. The currency, the cash flow. So that's why you get words such as someone is being liquidated or liquidation, because all of it has to do with water. It's the law of the water. Now you also have to understand where this comes from. You have to understand where it comes from. Cash flow, flowing of water. Currency, a current. A bank, riverbank. You store it at a bank. It controls what? Currents, the movement of that energy. So money is an energy. So this thing that money is evil or things like that, no, I think that's just a mindset for people to be afraid to manifest money into their reality, which is something that we're going to have to leave behind in the old age, because we need that. In fact, we don't need it. It's what is. There is currency throughout the universe. It's just that like what we define as money here, the universe also has money, but it now expresses it in different ways. So the currency of the universe, when someone is rich, we say that we define that through experience and through synchronicity, through knowledge, through wisdom. That's the real wealth. On this particular plane, it manifests through what? Through cash, through what we call cash, in all its different forms, whether it be crypto or it be a physical cash, it could be online cash, but that's what we define as someone, that person is wealthy. But that comes from an ancient system. It comes from way back then, because you need to understand that the whole thing about banks, it started way back in Kemet, way back in Africa. They had this where now you had tribes and different countries. You know, you had borders back in the day, but they weren't borders so much like how borders these days separate in ownership. It was to separate, but that separation of separating people and countries, it wasn't in a way where people want to get one over the other. It was to express the multiplicity of God. Hence you see the different netters in ancient Egypt or in ancient Kemet, where you see those beings with heads of animals. Those are called the Neterus, where the Neter means God. Neter means God, which is where we get nature from, right? So now the Neterus are the different expressions of God. So you would get Tehuti, which is thoughts, or Thor, which deals with the mind. You would get Ma'at, which is the feminine principle of balance, stability, and harmony, justice. You would get Sekhmet, you would get Heru, you would get Ra, you would get Bast, you would get all of these different entities, you know, Tawet, you would get all of them. And even when you went to the east, you would get Krishna, you would get Shakti, you would get Shiva, you would get Brahma, you would get all of these different beings. To Mesopotamia, all these cultures had different expressions of God. So even in tribes, we were differentiated because we were expressing the multiplicity that the one Most High represents in the physical body. Hence because we ate off the fruit of duality, or the tree of good and evil, which just means we came into the lower material world to experience polarity. So now in us coming into the material world, it's an expression of the one most intelligent being, that the one Most High. Now, when it comes to money, in these different tribes or countries, you had people who are we'd call them the early investors or bankers. So let's say you wanted to go to a different country, right? You had people at the entrances of those particular places who were changing currencies. So if you wanted to come, let's say for instance, to South Africa from Botswana or from whatever country, you would find certain people at the entrance, and then you would exchange money there, and what those people had, they had a table, or a sort of a bench where they did this exchanging, and that was called a bank. If you look up the etymology, if you go right now to Google and you Google where does the word bank come from, it'll tell you that it means a bench, a table. So a bank is a table. A bank is a table. So someone would have a table there, and then that's where they would exchange currencies with different people. And in those times, it was based on an honest system. It was based on an honest system that what I give you what you are giving me is worth. So there would be no trickery. And as everything with humans, as time went on, then other people started, you would give somebody and they would give you less than you should have got. And if someone was caught doing that, then they would break that person's particular bank, which is what you call rupt. The word rupt means to break. R-U-P-T, to rupt. It means to break. Nepula. That's where now these words started coming in, where they say that, oh, that person is bankrupt. They would break his table for his dishonesty. And then they would say that, oh, that person is bankrupt, because now the whole system in which he was operating, he couldn't now trade because of the dishonesty. So then there was the system of bartering. So all of these things, there was a system of bartering, right? So now when it comes to bartering, it was mostly based off also an energy system, because when you were trading with somebody, if I wanted to trade with you a cow, I had to make sure that if I want a cow, if I want to get, let's say, corn, a certain amount of corn from you, I had to keep my cow in such a good condition that when I go trade it at the market, it would be worth what it is that I'm going to receive from someone else. If I go there with a skinny cow, that I haven't been feeding, looking after, I'm not going to get much for it. So now that also now plays a spiritual aspect, because that's on a material level when you look at it, but on a spiritual level, if you are honest, let's say you were the money trader, if you were somebody who was honored and who was honest, and then you died and you went into the afterlife, what they would do is that they had a system of measurement to measure your currency, which is energy, which is flow, which is what you've generated through experience. So mostly your personality, your persona, how you treated people, how you were in your heart. They had what they call the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at. It's called negative confessions. I have not slept with my brother's wife. I have not cheated any man. I have not done this. And in saying that, if you look at the 42 negative confessions, really there's no human that could say that, they never did all of those things. But if you're a good person to some degree, then at the weighing of the scales, which is when somebody dies, you would have one of the netters, which represents an archetype or an aspect of the Godhead or the God mind. When you watch movies today, you would see that this person wearing black, and then they have like a sickle. They call him Death. That is an earlier representative of an entity called Anubis with the head of a jackal, right? So Anubis was the one who ushered in disembodied souls into the afterlife, so that their hearts could be measured at the scales of Ma'at, against the feather. The feather also represents Tehuti, because Tehuti and Ma'at are consorts, right? So it's like they're partners. Bachola, they dating. They together. Or let's just say they two sides of the same coin, because every positive has a negative. So Tehuti is the feather. So the feather it's a feather of an ibis. An ibis is that bird which has like a beak that kind of does this, which also represents the pen, So hence, Tehuti or Thoth or Hermes Trismegistus was represented by the ibis bird, because it represented writing, Thoth, thoughts, the mind. So the feather represented the mind, the aspects of the refinedness, the lightness of your thoughts, and it was measured against the heart, which now represents Ma'at. So if your heart was heavier than the feather, it means that you would have had certain attachments to the physical, or certain wrongs that you've done, emotions that weigh heavy upon your heart, which now tip the scales so that your heart is heavier. And when that happened, you would now not be able to move on into the realm of the higher beings, or into the realm of your ancestors, because there's many dimensions. There's a dimension in which when you get disembodied, if you are honest, you would carry on with your particular practice. So let's say that you were a skilled musician. You wouldn't that when you die, all of a sudden you go that side and now you are like a philosopher, you're a quantum scientist. You would continue with, if you are a farmer, you would continue with that, but in a much more refined and subtle realm, where that same practice is happening. Because remember that everything in the physical is a copy of things that exist in the spiritual. Everything here is an imitation of things that are in higher planes. So you continue on with that, but the profession is it's different, because it's taking place in a whole different dimension. So there's tasks and duties that side, you continue on with what it is that you were skilled here to do, because your personality doesn't just end when you die. It continues on. Your lifespan is more than just the physical. You have the 7 chakras, right? The lower 4 are of the material world. The ether, the light, and the spacious one. The 3 upper chakras are the ones that are known to survive death. So after death, the 4 lower ones get recycled into the physical world. So your physical body, your ethereal body, and the mental, and all of those, they get recycled into the physical world. But then the 3 upper chakras survive death. And remember that the chakras are wheels of light, or psychic wheels, or psychic places where you exist on a spiritual level. So if you vibrate above those, you were to take your currency on the planet, which is not money, but your personality, your calmness, your way of being. That was what your currency is. That's your currency. So that's what they measured that. So what you would call money here, you could be a billionaire. There's that story of this rich guy who died, and then when he died, he went into purgatory. And one of the guys who was his servants, he saw him. Now that guy was exalted, because when he was living in the physical, his personality, his thoughts, his ways were of a righteous nature, that when he also died, now he became able to dwell in those realms of those higher vibrations. So this guy was in purgatory, and so now he was burning, and then he asked Jorge, yo man, like I'm burning here, if you could just like give me like a sip of water, even if you could just take your like just a drop of water with your nail, and then just like quench my thirst. Because that guy, even though he was rich in the physical, his personality, his way of being wasn't necessarily of a light being. It was dense, it was heavy. So hence, when he got disembodied, he got shot into purgatory, and he couldn't like now dwell in the much more refined, in the much more refined dimensions. You see, so the whole thing about money is not just a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. Your money is your personality, your energy, because your energy will attract people, certain types of people who will have what you need, who will have what you want. There's something that you have that other people need. And there's something that other people have that you want. And vice versa. There's something that you have that other people want, and there's something that other people have that you need. The need is more based on the things that are non-tangible, the knowledge of self. Hence you could find gurus, rich people traveling to see shamans seeking enlightenment, especially if you watch that Doctor Strange movie. This guy, he was he was a doctor who was just like high status, but then when his hands got shattered and he couldn't be creative in that aspect that he had known, he went to seek enlightenment. And at first he doubted, but then what he found was much more than what he thought the world was. There's so much more that he didn't know. You see, so money, it's good to have money in the physical. It's good to, don't say you don't want to it's good to have money to be financially stable, so you could take care of your children, of your spouse. You do nice things. Let's go to Kruger Park, enjoy your physical things, but never ever forget that there's a different type of currency that you are also dealing with. And that has nothing to do with your physical. All of that has to do with your level of consciousness. Hence also you see in ancient Kemet, when someone died, they buried them with their gold and all of that. It wasn't that they were to say that this person, you're taking that physical money with you, but it was a symbolic representation to say that, all this gold is symbolic of the consciousness that this person has cultivated for themselves while they were embodied. And now they're taking that into the spiritual realm, and it will translate there. So there are realms just similar to the physical world as well, where we dwell, where farming still takes place, where agriculture, all these different fields of science and study, and they take technology, but technology on a different level. The pyramids, understand, they were technology. They were technology, not only to just balance the wobble of the earth, but also they were to transport thoughts across distances without creating or polluting the air with with wires and radio frequencies and cell phone and Wi-Fi. The ancients understood that they could use the body as the technology. So the pyramids were multiple, it was layered. And at the same time, there were temples of initiation to initiate people who were now ready to come into the mysteries of existence, people who raise themselves past a certain point of living in the physical. You see, because there are states that people will only learn after they've been disembodied, that the sage learns while they're still living. And hence now when that sage passes on, they should pass the realms that people who have died long ago are still dwelling and learning lessons that when you were in the physical would have been quickened. Because when you come into the physical world, it's called a quickening. Your spirit gets quickened. And then now when you leave, when you shed your body in all these different dimensions, you don't need to dwell in realms where you would have already have learned those things. So there's realms you can access that are high while you are still here in the physical. And that's why the physical body is the most sought after vessel by beings in different stellar systems, in different dimensions, interstellar, interplanetary. This human body that you have is one of the most beautiful and one of the most divine pieces of work ever created. But you don't know it. You're too distracted by, I gotta pay bills, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. You're too distracted by the material. But that's why they say, seek ye first the kingdom of God, which is the mind. Remember, the kingdom is here, it's the crown. When you seek the mind, when you know what it is, when you know purpose, when you understand certain things, when they say and seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else shall follow. It means everything else, it'll automatically follow, because now your vibration, your emotions, your energy, your currency will be vibrating there. So now synchronicities, the universe will begin to pay you in its currency, which is synchronicity. You'll begin to meet people. You'll think things and you'll meet people who will give you things, give you opportunities. That's how the universe pays you. It pays you in that way. It doesn't mean that it always pays you in the form of physical money. No, it's different. It won't always pay you in physical money. It'll pay you in opportunity where someone in the physical can give you physical money, or will give you an opportunity for you to make lots of money. You see, but the greatest thing is for you to cultivate the spiritual currency, to work on that, because that's the most important thing, because that's what you take with you after you die. Your thoughts, your memories, especially those of a high vibration, those are the ones that remain with you. So with that being said, family, peace, love and light. Thank you all to everyone who's been following me for the past, I don't know how long now, but thank you to everyone who's subscribing, who's sharing, who's walking this journey. Peace, peace, love and light. And as I'm saying, I'm wishing you blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings and nothing but blessings. You are beautiful beings. You are amazing beings. You are fantastic. You are fantastic. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. And with that being said, happy birthday to you, because you are my reflection. I don't know when your birthday is, so happy belated, happy coming birthday to everybody who's watching. And again, with that being said, remember, it's the spiritual currency, your personality, but don't neglect the physical. Do not neglect the physical, because you are a being that dwells in two realms all at the same time. All at the same time. So thank you so much, family. And also, since it's my birthday, those offerings, you know what it is? You know what it is? You know what it is. I said you know what it is. It's in the description. It's in the description. You will see it there. Don't blink twice. Bank account, it's there. Everything is there. You look at it once, you know what to do. I don't have to tell you twice. Telepathic thoughts through a pyramid into your head. You know what you have to do. Peace, love and light to you all, family. Love you all. Love you all. Keep growing. Keep growing. Keep growing. Keep growing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Much love.